We all remember Ash's little Gible he had captured at the end of the Sinnoh series. Gible was pretty cute and had a pretty powerful bite. Ash was even able to teach his Gible Dracometer in that short time he had it. Even with its laser accuracy to always hit Piplup, Gible would be a very powerful asset to his team, and if he would have kept training it after the Sinnoh arc, we could have seen a very powerful Garchomp right now, and perhaps even rivaling the power between Charizard and Ash Greninja. But as we all know, Ash didn't continue to train Gible, and right now it is currently at Oak's lab lounging around and has been there since the ending of Sinnoh. Well, what if Gible per se hid in Ash's belongings and was able to sneak its way off to the Unova region with Ash, just like how Aipom did when he was going to Sinnoh? Just like the anime, Ash makes his way off to Unova, except with Gible at his side underneath the plane seat. Once Ash lands in Unova, Gible surprises Ash with his signature hat bite. Ash immediately figures out it's Gible just by its bite. From there, Ash begins his journey in the Unova region, and after a while, eventually meets Iris. Iris is surprised that Ash has a dragon Pokemon with him, and begins to take strong interest in Gible, sensing that it's pretty powerful. Along with Iris liking Gible, her Axew also bonds with Gible pretty well. They actually wind up being great friends. Silent eventually meets up with them after Ash has his battle against the gym leaders of Striaton City. Ash uses Gible quite frequently throughout his journey, gaining experience for Gible, making quick work of the Striaton and Nacrane City gym, and it eventually evolved into Gabite during his battle with Elesa. Pikachu and Palpitoad were able to take out Tynamo and Emolga relatively easily. Zebstrika was able to take out Pikachu and Palpitoad after being tired from their previous matches. All Ash had left was Gible. Gible was easily outsped by Zebstrika and was getting hit by double kicks and quick attacks left and right. After being hit several times, Ash decides to go for broke and shoot off a Dracometer. With Dracometer being more perfected than usual, Gible is now able to send 3 orbs off rather than 1. It can't quite aim that well, but with a little luck, an orb hits Zebstrika in a very comedic fashion. With Zebstrika weakened, Ash tells Gible to use Dig. Unfortunately, Gible isn't fast enough and gets double kicked and sent flying across the battlefield. While Gible on the ground struggling to get up, its body starts to glow, and thus it begins its evolution to Gabite. With Gabite having double the speed it had before, it is able to make quick work of Zebstrika with a quick dig underground, being able to move a lot faster than it did before. With that one dig, Ash is able to defeat Elesa and earn his 4th badge. Also, speed stats don't mean anything in the anime because the anime is broken and we can use it to our advantage. Along the way over to Driftville City, Ash and Co meet up with Ash's Unova rival, Trip. At this point, Trip has no idea Ash has a Gabite because he has never showed it in a battle because of some of the type advantages Trip has over it, hence his Vanillux. In this next battle though, being spectated by the champion Alder, Ash uses Gabite against Trip's Vanillux because Ash is dumb and I had to make Ash look dumb once. Ash lost to Trip and Vanillux destroyed Gabite because it was able to time its dig and figure out the exact location of where it would land. I would have included more of these battles, but trust me, once the league comes around, it will be more intense. Ash now has 4 badges in his arsenal, and a middle evolution Gabite. Once Ash makes his way down the Driftville City, him and the gang meet up with Clay the gym leader. Clay is very interested in Gabite due to it being a ground type and being a very rare Pokemon in the Unova region. He also compliments Ash for raising it well because it looked very strong to him. Clay wants to battle against Gabite really bad, so Ash winds up using it alongside Snivy and Oshawott. Gabite is able to take out Excadrill at the end with a very close match. Excadrill was able to outmaneuver Gabite underground because of sheer experience and just being more powerful being a final stage evolution Pokemon. Luckily for Ash though, Gabite was able to learn Earthquake and took advantage of Excadrill digging because of Earthquake being really effective for Pokemon being underground and its steel typing too. After that clash of ground type titans, Ash receives his 5th badge and resumes his journey. From this point onward, Ash still uses Gabite relatively often but not as much as he usually does because he feels he is leaving his Unova Pokemon out of the spotlight. But he still trains with Gabite for group training and occasionally spars against Iris's Axew. Nothing really happens with Gabite at the time he is at the Mistralton gym and the Icarus gym. Ash felt there wasn't any point in using Gabite in any of these important battles because for one, ground type he doesn't have an effect on flying types, and the other reason is because ice types, and he kind of learned his lesson from Trip in the last battle. Ash then makes his way over to Verbank City and then he faces off against Roxy, the poison type gym leader. After meeting Roxy, Ash challenges her to a battle. Roxy has a lot of confidence in her Pokemon and sets the conditions for her to only use 3 of her Pokemon while Ash could use all 6. Throughout the entire battle, it was super intense. Nearly all of Ash's Pokemon got knocked out, aside from Gabite and Pignite. Pignite faces off against Scolipede and is able to take it out. However, it gets taken out shortly after by Roxy's Garbodor. Ash's last Pokemon is Gabite, which got damaged by coughing earlier in the battle because of its speed. So Gabite is still exhausted from earlier, but it's still able to clutch the battle and get a victory for Ash. Barely by the skin of its teeth though. Roxy had the right to be confident. With all 8 badges in hand, Ash makes his way over to the Unova League. On the way over though, Ash and friends make their way over to Opelucid City. There they meet the gym leader Drayden and had a big connection to the village of dragons where Iris was born and spent a lot of her life. Iris knew Drayden because of a battle they had in the past and Iris lost. Iris sees Drayden again and they agree to have a rematch. Ash, very curious to see what happens, brings out his Gabite to observe the battle because he thinks it could learn a couple things. Gabite then comes out of its Pokeball and begins to glare at Iris' Dragonite due to the rivalry of the two Dragon-type Pokemon. But Gabite also sees Dragonite as a teacher deep down, even though they have a rivalry against each other. Dragonite turns to Gible, nodding its head to watch and learn. Dragonite and Drayden's Druddigon then begin to battle, and even though the match was really close, Dragonite ends up losing. Gabite, outraged, charges Druddigon and begins to fire off a Dragon Claw. Druddigon senses this and moves slightly to the right, dodging the attack, and then whacks Gabite off of the Dragon Tail into the wall. Gabite's pride is then shattered and practically refuses to battle. Dragonite sees this after recovering and basically calls it pathetic, but gives it the pep talk to strive further and to surpass Dragonite one day. After the events of the Dragon Pokemon, Ash finally arrives at the Unova League competition, or the Virtuous Conference. The competition was tough, and Ash had made it all the way to the top 8 and battled against Cameron. The battle started off with Cameron sending out his Hydreigon, which was very strong. Hydreigon was able to take out both Ash's Oshawott and Boldore. For his third Pokemon, Ash sends out his Gabite, and being a Dragon type against a Dragon type, this battle would definitely be an intense one. Hydreigon, still being in decent condition, is able to overwhelm Gabite, literally landing off a powerful Dragon Rush on Gabite. It is then set in the air, flying and hits the ground hard. Cameron then starts to taunt Ash and tells him that he is going to win at this rate. Gabite hears this and begins to get flashbacks from its talk of Dragonite and being knocked back by Druddigon. Gabite feels the pain Ash is feeling. Cameron orders his Hydreigon to finish off Gabite with a Dragon Rush. Ash then yells at Gabite to dodge it, but it can't dodge due to it barely being able to stand up. Ash then closes his eyes because he doesn't want to see his Gabite get hurt. As Dragon Rush hits, Gabite uses 2 Dragon Claws to stop the attack and is able to hold Hydreigon off. It then begins to look at the 3-headed Dragon Pokemon with a glare and defends Ash's honor. Moments later, after Gabite catches the Dragon Rush, it begins to glow and begins its evolution into Garchomp. Garchomp then completely overpowers Hydreigon, hits it with both Dragon Claws, sending Hydreigon flying and hitting the ground. With Hydreigon now on the ground, Ash orders Garchomp to use its Dracometer, and this time all of the orbs pop out and it's a perfect Dracometer, being able to hit Hydreigon with all the orbs. With Ash now catching up to Cameron, he has the momentum back and uses Garchomp for the next battle and knocks out Cameron's Ferrothorn with an overwhelming Earthquake attack, practically shaking the whole stadium, taking out Ferrothorn in one shot. It's the anime, go with it. This stuff happens all the time. Shortly after though, Garchomp is defeated by a surprise Ice Beam attack from Cameron's Swanna and goes down, but in the end it is still able to take out 2 of Cameron's Pokemon. The battle then proceeds as it does in the anime, resulting in Ash losing to Cameron and making it to the top 8. After Unova takes place, Ash leaves Garchomp back at Professor Oak's lab and makes his way over to Kalos. At the beginning, Ash sees the Garchomp at Professor Sycamore's lab and begins to wonder if Mega Evolution will be possible for him and his Garchomp. After that moment, Ash and Garchomp don't see each other again until Ash comes back to Kanto after Kalos, and then again during the trip to Alola, where Ash and his classmates go to Kanto to observe the different Pokemon comparisons to Alola, and of course being reunited with Brock and Misty and all of his other Pokemon as well. Well, that was the story if Ash's Gible were to evolve into Garchomp. What do you guys think? A lot of you are probably thinking, though, why I chose Unova over Kalos. The Unova anime doesn't get enough love, and well, if we would have brought Gible over to Kalos, we would have had to Mega Evolve it one way or the other. People would be expecting it as well. Who knows? Maybe I will do a what-if series where Ash does Mega Evolve his Pokemon. Get your imaginations rolling, guys. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and why not subscribe if you guys enjoy these scenarios. With that being said, though, I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you guys next time.